Okay, I'm going to do a video. This is a little conversion optimization hack. It's for blogging and for a lot of sites. This is a really easy one to get right, and it has to do with page load time. Your images are probably the number one, uh, probably the most important place to focus in terms of increasing your page load time. Images they have the largest file size usually. So making images smaller in file size will usually increase or decrease your page load times, which obviously will help with conversions. So I'm doing this video to show people real quickly how they can um, make their image file sizes smaller, and also to help our own writers understand how this works and what to do. So the first thing I want to talk about is I'm just going to use today's post as an example. One thing I like to do is, let me see, copy link image address. I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so I can copy this image and put it into Photoshop. Okay, oops, let me bring this down here. Okay, this image is actually 1,000 pixels. So what I wanted to show everyone first was I usually like to aim for 1,000 pixels wide for blog images because most blogs, not all of them, but a lot of blogs, the column width is less than 1,000 pixels, so the blog will automatically scale down the image usually, and it'll look a little better. So 1,000 pixels is good, and the reason why I choose 1,000 pixels too is it's not too big. Anything over 1,000 pixels wide, your file size starts to creep up a lot. So the bigger your image is dimensionally, the bigger the file size will be. So I usually aim for 1,000, and in Photoshop, you can always resize things simply with image size. Now this one's already 1,000, so you would say it was 2,000 and you want to make it 800. Here's how you do it. Okay. There are probably a million ways to resize an image. There's probably plenty of online tools out there that will do it. I'm using Photoshop because it's the industry standard. Whatever way you can resize an image, that's the first step. We're going to talk about file size in a second. So yeah, let's move on to file size. The next thing is you want to save. In Photoshop, it's saved for web. Now, images like this that have actually photographs in them, and they're not just text and design decorative images, you probably want to make them a JPEG. You can see that the file size is already way lower than it was when it was a PNG. And there's your savings right there, right? 44 seconds at 56K, if anyone's on a 56K connection. Let's just say, so 3 seconds versus 2 seconds, right? So you're shaving time. Now remember, you're going to have more than one image, so every image that you reduce the file size for, the better your savings. So the faster your load time. So if you have a complicated image with a lot going on, like a photograph, make it a JPEG. If it's, say, like if it was just this clock with this Twitter icon, then I'd probably make it a PNG. PNGs are great for things that are not photographs, charts and graphs, things like that. So you would save it. Now, alternatively, there's a great site here called TinyPNG, and there's other sites like TinyPNG, but I just always use them. The beautiful thing about this, and for our bloggers, this is just a great tool for you guys. You can just drag and drop all your images in here, and it will optimize them all for you automatically. You can download them all at once. It's super easy to use. So that's something you want to do. I want you guys to try to keep your images, try to keep them under 100K if you can. That will help a lot. Sometimes we have images that are 400K, or we had one post the other day where the images were 2 megabytes. That's way too big. We gotta shave those file sizes down a lot. All right. So finally, after you've resized images to 1,000 pixels and you've decreased the file size through either Photoshop or TinyPNG, you give it a check. Make sure the image still looks clean. If this image looks really pixelated or blurry, we still want good quality looking images. So play with compressing the images to a way where it still looks good. Whatever you do, don't scale up an image. I think in this post we might actually have that going on. It looks a little blurry. That's probably because the image was scaled up from its original size. One way to solve that problem is just put white space around it and make it 1,000 pixels wide with white space. That can help. It'll keep the image looking clean. Finally, when you save the image, your Mac. First of all, your Mac is if you're doing screenshots with your Mac, it's gonna always be PNG. So you might want to not keep the image in the PNG file format. You might want to switch to JPEG like I did in Photoshop, or if you have other means to do so. There's another tool out there called GIMP, which is like Photoshop and it's free. It's a little clunky, but it does everything Photoshop does. Let me actually just show you guys that real quick. Photo editor. So, yeah, here you go. You can download this software. It's free. It'll do what Photoshop does. Okay, back to what I was doing here. Fine. So this is the final step. This is part 3. When you guys save your image finally, let's make this a JPEG. Save. Don't use the Macintosh screenshot file naming format because it doesn't mean anything. Don't use Photoshop. Actually describe what the image is. It helps. Not only is it good for SEO, it also helps us when we're trying to make sure images are in the right place. So you might want to say this one was about buffer, the buffer blog homepage, right? So you save that. And then when you insert it into the blog, make sure that when you go, you want to fill out an alt text. So I'll just do the code up here. Alt equals buffer homepage, right? Chances are WordPress or your blogging software is going to put hyphens in your file name when you have an alt tag. It'll actually do that work for you. It'll create the alt tag. Go in there and delete the hyphens and have spaces so it looks like normal text. Buffer homepage. And that's it. So there you go. You have images that are optimized in terms of file size and dimensions. They'll load faster. They still look good. They'll scale well. And then you have your alt tag and file naming done so that you have the SEO taken care of. So that's it. Thank you.